Coming up, to sell or not to sell, the topic of Sunday alcohol sales has become a hot topic in Wolfe County. And a visit from one customer has given one local restaurant in Corbin the publicity of a lifetime. Plus, family members of a Whitley County woman who was fatally shot back in May are now offering a cash reward for more information to help find the man they believe killed her, who is still on the run.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 5:29 on this Thursday, June the 13th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning into Mountain News this morning. Yesterday was a very beautiful day. The afternoon clouds started to roll in, and by nighttime it was raining. Brandon, what are we looking at on this Thursday?
Well, some rain will continue in scattered form off and on through today. The heaviest bulk of the rain has moved out this morning, but again, that cold front still working its way through the bluegrass right now. Let's take a look at the cameras. US 119 up on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain there. A little bit of rain overnight, and again, heavy in some spots overnight. We see that there on the satellite radar loop for the last 6 hours. We're going to continue to track some fog this morning, so keep that in mind as you travel. Temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s, and the day planner takes us into the mid to upper 60s later today, but that's by this lunchtime. After that, we start to fall behind the cold front. Full forecast on the way here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, Kentucky lawmakers have now less than 3 weeks before some quasi-governmental agencies have to pay more for pension costs. Wednesday, House Democratic leaders invited Governor Bevin to a face-to-face meeting. They say they want to come to an agreement on a pension plan before the July 1st deadline. As Matthew Rand explains, affected agencies are fearing painful cuts to services if a deal can't be reached.
Any victim who's been served in a rape crisis center would say to you, they saved my life.
The Kentucky Association of Sexual Assault Programs, or KSAP, represents a network of 13 rape crisis centers across the state, 8 of which are in the Kentucky Employees Retirement System.
When we received the retirement, we were overjoyed because it was a 5% employer share, basically 5.89%. It was that forever.
KSAP Executive Director Eileen Rechtenwald says before joining the KERS, their staff were very underpaid with no benefits whatsoever.
That was an absolute gift, and we were very grateful to have it.
But now KSAP and other quasi-public agencies could see their pension contribution rates jump from 49% to about 83% if nothing is done before July 1st.
Which means that the centers will be paying more for retirement benefits than they will for salary, basically.
Governor Matt Bevin won't call a special session until his pension bill has enough support to pass. The bill would freeze pension costs for quasis and regional universities for another year. It would also give agencies the option to stay or leave the KERS and provide a path to pay down their debt.
The problem is they don't have the funding to do that. The funding they have is for service delivery only. It cannot be used for indebtedness.
If state leaders can't reach a deal before the deadline, Rechtenwald says layoffs and outreach office closures could be immediate, placing vital services for sexual assault victims in peril.
If they don't report it, or if they spend a long time trying to get services, or they never get services, the trauma is likely to affect them for the rest of their life.
Reporting in Frankfort, Matthew Rand, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Governor Bevin is in Washington, D.C., participating in the Select USA Investment Summit. Governor Bevin joined Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb on stage for a panel discussion earlier this week. Businesses and investors from around the world attend the summit. In an interview Wednesday, Governor Bevin praised Kentucky's large manufacturing industry.
If you think of a state in America that most embodies engineering and manufacturing excellence, it is Kentucky. We have 50% more people working in manufacturing in Kentucky than does the average state. It is something that we do well.
Now, Governor Bevin also mentioned several college programs in Kentucky that focus on engineering as well as research and development. Over in West Virginia, Governor Jim Justice says the state's revenue growth rate is the second best in the country. Numbers were displayed depicting a 0.8 revenue growth rate for the 10 years before he took office and an 11.5% growth rate since 2017. Justice said despite criticism and legal challenges about not living at the governor's mansion in Charleston as required by law, the numbers speak for themselves.
If you think I'm going to apologize to you or I'm going to even comment on, well, Governor, you know, why aren't you at the mansion more? Or whether I'm everywhere more, everywhere. That's telling you. For God's sakes, living, you don't want this. You want that.
The governor says that the state is now on pace to generate $1.8 billion in new revenue over 5 years. The results for elections in Wayne, West Virginia are in. Incumbent Wayne Mayor Danny Grace held off former longtime mayor and challenger James Ramey Jr. III with 250 votes to 207. Voters also passed a proposition that means this year's winners will only serve a 3-year term. The next town election will coincide with the county election in 2022, when all offices will become 4-year terms. You can find out more information about the election results on our website at WYMT.com. Well, due to recent discussion in Wolfe County fiscal court meetings, officials are now taking Sunday alcohol sales into consideration. WYMT's Taylor Upchurch talked with those in support of the change and those against it.
To sell or not to sell?
The responses that I've gotten have been 15, maybe 20 to 1 in support of Sunday sales.
Officials say Wolfe County became a wet county back in 1991. This, of course, meant alcohol was to only be sold Monday through Saturday. Surrounding counties like Powell and Breathitt, now serving alcohol beverages all week long, are giving local businesses a run for their money.
It's difficult for us now that we're in a position that we're sending people elsewhere.
Magistrate Wade Gibbs says others have received a much more negative response.
I wish that it wasn't on the market, because I think it destroys a lot of lives.
Several people voted to have an ordinance created. This ordinance, approved by the court, must be read at 2 public hearings and in turn be approved by majority vote. Some locals see it as economic growth, others a step towards destruction.
I'll average probably between 200 and 300 sales on a Saturday. On Sundays, it's 20 to 40.
It's a shame that we've gotten to the place where we think we have to sell alcohol or legalize drugs in order to create revenue.
Now officials must consider only selling in restaurants by the drink and not in stores by the package, in an attempt to please both sides. In Wolfe County, Taylor Upchurch, WYMT Mountain News.
County officials plan to present the ordinance to the public in upcoming meetings. For those interested in attending, fiscal court meetings are held the second Tuesday of every month at 1:30. The first chemical weapon at the Bluegrass Army Depot has been destroyed. The facility says it successfully destroyed a mustard agent munition. Last month, the depot marked the beginning of the chemical weapon destruction, which is expected to be completed by 2023. The stockpile holds more than 500 tons of mustard and nerve agents. A man wanted for murder remains on the run. Investigators think this man, Nicholas Rucker, killed his girlfriend, Vicki Connor. We'll show you Rucker at some point. Killed his girlfriend, Vicki Connor, in the Woodbine community 3 weeks ago. This man, there you go. Family members of Connor are now offering a reward for Rucker's arrest.
Maybe the money will motivate somebody to come forward and to say that they've actually seen him and stay on him until law enforcement can get to him.
Nancy Wagner says the rewards goal is $10,000, but any amount they receive will go to the tipster. All information should be given to Kentucky State Police in London. A family-owned and operated restaurant has been a local warm weather favorite in Corbin since 1967. However, employees say a couple pictures with a certain someone Tuesday afternoon is probably more publicity than they have ever received. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds has more from the root beer stand in Corbin.
The root beer stand in Corbin is a favorite by many.
It's where everybody goes. It's usually packed. I mean, except for the day, you know, it's a little bit cloudy, but usually it's packed.
It was a normal day for workers there on Tuesday. That is when an SUV pulled into Space 22, and in it, a man catching Alice Helton's eye.
And I kept staring at him. I guess he thought I was crazy.
She told her co-workers she thought it was Coach Calipari.
They said, no, he's in Northern Kentucky. I said, no, he's out here. If that ain't him, that's his twin, you know, somebody that looks like him.
But Alice was right. It was Coach Cal. And even though employees tried to let him eat in peace, Coach Cal insisted on sharing pictures with employees with his millions of Twitter followers.
I fanboyed out a little bit. You run over that scenario in your mind, what if someone like that were to stop by? But you never actually imagine that Cal's going to stop at your place.
Manager Robert Champlin says he believes employees like Alice doing their best to make everyone's experience equally special for everyone is what led Coach Cal to their parking lot.
That's the reason that the Root Beer stands special, that and the community that we're a part of.
A chance encounter they will never forget. In Corbin, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Coach Cal's so cool. Now employees say Coach Cal loved the hamburger that he ate but couldn't leave without a root beer float for the road. Well, the city of Pikeville is working to bring new business to its downtown area by offering an incentives program. The Pikeville Main Street program is currently offering the incentives in hopes of establishing new shops and restaurants or to help existing businesses succeed downtown. Those range from rent incentives to setup and decoration help. Director Minta Trimble says this program is already bringing in a few potential additions and could possibly improve the local economy.
We're just looking for new ways to make sure that all of our buildings are filled with great businesses downtown. They already are, but we need a few more restaurants and a few more places to shop and have something great to do.
We have more information about the incentives on our website at WYMT.com. Woodford Reserve Distillery in Versailles is opening a new visitor center. Folks with the distillery say tourism is helping their business. The new center will be the starting point for the tours on the property. It's all decked out with the bar and paintings from Kentucky artists. The old visitor center was built 20 years ago. It will still be a part of the Woodford Reserve experience. General Motors announced it will add about 1,000 jobs at its assembly plant in Flint, Michigan, the city where GM was founded. Company President Mark Reese said the workers from other now closed GM plants were added to the employment roster in Flint on June 3rd. This brings General Motors' total salaried and hourly jobs in the city to 5,000. General Motors also built a paint facility and expanded Flint engine operations recently. Straight ahead, one Marvel superfan is taking their love of the Avengers series to a new level this summer in hopes of breaking the world record.
The unseasonably cool weather continues for the majority of the 7-day forecast, and a 4-letter word we've gotten used to is going to be a big part of it. I'll tell you about the bright spots in about 3 minutes.